So guys, we are out riding with the Karizma XMR. We finally spent a good 2 weeks with this. They're putting almost 500 kilometers on it, doing the Bombay-Pune run in it, which is a very important aspect of our testing. And this time we've done it, and we've ridden it locally within both the cities as well. We have a fantastic, uh, experience of the motorcycle in much detail. And what does it feel like? Well, let's begin with the engine. It is very linear, very smooth, and it isn't very refined as well, because there are vibrations at the right handlebar and the right foot peg. There are a lot of vibrations. The tank also has some vibrations. So this is something on the long run. It takes some time getting used to, because 1 foot through my Bombay-Pune trip, I had my right hand buzzing. After some time, it was fine. And secondly, when it comes to the engine, it is very linear, very characterless in in that aspect, because it doesn't really have a lot of character. It is so linear. It feels like a computer just made this engine, because it doesn't have any traditional traits from the older Karizma, and there are some, but it isn't there entirely. Because it just feels like a very basic 210cc liquid cooled engine with a DOHC unit, and because of the DOHC setup, what that gives you is good top end, but that top end finishes off quickly, like you're done at 125, 130. The Odo can show a lot more, but then again we know for a fact that this engine can only do 130 kilometers an hour max on the GPS. Secondly, because of the DOHC, again, the low end torque isn't that fantastic. The motorcycle is light, there is enough torque, so you get just about enough low end torque to deal with in the city. You will be actually doing a lot of upshifts and downshifts, and because of that, it becomes a bit of cumbersome to drive on a daily basis, and that also hampers the fuel efficiency. In the city, you will get 25, 26, which is quite less for this engine. On the highway, it will reach only 32, 34. So these numbers for a liquid cooled fuel injected BS6 engine are quite low. And just like any other BS6 engine that Hero is making, low end torque is missing and fuel efficiency is a bit on the lower side. This is of course the effects of the BS6, and something that other manufacturers are getting right slowly over the last 2-3 years. But Hero is still new into it, and they're not really getting the appropriate numbers that the public would like. So this is something that needs to be worked upon, and this is what you have to consider as well. Secondly, the comfort on the bike. Like I said, I did a Bombay-Pune run. No wrist pain, no back pain, no lower back pain or anything like that. But the neck pain is actually I actually had to take a 2-day leave from the motorcycle, because the neck pain was quite high. You sit in a sort of position where you are with your neck down and not sitting up or anything. Even if I sit like this, I can't grab the tank entirely well, and I have to sit on my put my toes on the pegs to get the right position, to get my upper body in the right position. So basically, ergonomics are not that great, despite most of the things are right. The seat comfort is also right, but it is just the crouching position and the overall riding position which definitely could have been better. Either it should have been a bit higher or a bit lower. So that would have made a lot of sense. And that is one of the reasons why, it will be very difficult for somebody to do long distances in this. This is, after all, pegged to be a commuter, sort of a touring machine. But then again, with not enough top end and the ergonomics are not right, this really doesn't cut the cake in that aspect. It is what is turning out to be master of almost all, jack of just one. And what that one thing that the Karizma does really well is handling. The turn in is quick, sharp, the motorcycle feels solid and stable, and at any given speed, even the corners, while taking the corners, the bike feels very stable. The handling is very reassuring, very confidence inspiring. In fact, segment best, I would like to call, in terms of handling. Nothing is leaving the R&D centers in Jaipur, which is of course limited to a lot of people, but whichever bikes is coming out from there, they are offering fantastic handling all the way, which is a great testament to Hero's engineering indeed. They need to work on the engine part. They need to still learn on how to do better ergonomics, because this bike just doesn't feel up to the mark in that area. and even the computation on the digital instrument cluster, the range fluctuates a lot, the fuel efficiency fluctuates a lot. The range fluctuating every now and then is something that I think will trouble a lot of people as well. In the sun I can read it right now, not a problem, and it's just that it takes a little bit time getting used to the instrument cluster, which I have done right now. Immediately when you buy this bike, or you're new with this bike, you will realize that this is something that is needs help, but then with time you will adjust to it, no problems whatsoever. Secondly, quality of course needs to be better. Most parts are very cheap, and they will rust off and break off. That's what the feeling I'm getting here right now. The switch gear also looks quite good. It is good enough, but it isn't that great for a motorcycle of this price. And these things need to be worked upon. The engine definitely needs a little bit more help, because the top end gets finished quickly, the low end isn't that great. Mid-range of course is absolutely brilliant, like post 4000 and 6000 rpm there is a lot of torque, and post 6000 rpm it also pulls quite a bit, so you're keeping up with its peers should not be a problem. But then again, let's say in a drag race situation, the Karizma won't be able to keep up either in the top end or in the low end, because it just lacks that aspect over there. Right now my hands are getting buzzy again with the vibration on offer, which I told you earlier, and they're creeping in again. I think I also have to mention the fact that this motorcycle was delivered to us freshly serviced. So once the fresh oil was put in, we put in 400-500 kilometers on it, and rode it in both cities. And despite that, there are some vibrations. I can feel them right now in 6th gear at 60 kilometers an hour as well. So this is something that is also needs to be worked upon, because this is an ideal condition to be a motorcycle to be in. Post the first service, 500 kilometers are done and you're still experiencing refinement issues. This clearly means that there is a bit of a problem that needs to be fixed in that aspect. The brakes are also good enough. The handling, like I told you, is brilliant. Ride quality is epic. Seat comfort is good. The crouch and the overall ergonomics needs to be worked upon. And the computation on the digital instrument cluster also needs to work upon. Adjustable levers would have been ideal, but these levers feel actually very, very nice to me. The mirrors also work really well. The mounting is just right, and brakes also are pretty good at the front and at the back. I have had multiple times where I had to brake really hard in a situation, and the brakes did not disappoint one bit. So that is something that you don't see on regular bikes easily. You only see on big bikes, KTMs and all of that the brakes are really good. On this, the brakes are also quite good. So there can be a lot of theories on what Hero is trying to do, but they need to focus harder. They need to focus on one aspect, deliver on that aspect. Whether you want to put it this as a commuter or as a sports tourer or as a touring machine, because everything is just about here and there. It isn't up to the mark. It doesn't feel very focused in what it really wants to do. So this is something that needs to be fixed. We were impressed with the Karizma because Hero has come a long way when it comes to engineering. The handling is epic, the design is really good, everything is just about there, but but it isn't entirely there yet. So this is something that Hero needs to fix upon. Again, I am a lot of praises for this motorcycle when it comes to handling, when it comes to design, when it comes to the pricing also to a certain extent, but everything else needs work. And before once that is done, then only we can recommend this motorcycle. You can still go ahead and buy this bike, have a look at this bike, analyze it quite well according to your needs, and see if you end up liking this after a test ride or not. This is my take on this bike, and my take is that you should wait for quite some time before you get this vehicle in your garage, because it definitely wants to be there. And I also would really love to see a refined version of this bike in my garage one day, because it seems like a great affordable sports tourer. And that is it. That is what the bike is all about. That is what this review and video is all about. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share and subscribe. Follow us on social media and our website for everyday updates. Until then, goodbye.